Reporting live from Cape Town, South Africa for Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. We're just days away from the 2024 presidential election, and as we get closer and closer to this historic event, pop culture continues to remind us of where we've been. On Sunday, will.i.am would release a song endorsing Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee for president, titled Yes She Can.
Something's going on in America. People entertained by the predator. In America, we all immigrants, different characters, but together, you know, we could break down the barriers. And we say, yes, she can. And we say, yes, she can. And we say, yes, she can.
The song appears to be an updated version of a 2008 song will.i.am released in support of then Democratic presidential candidate Barack Obama. After this latest version dropped, many were immediately reminded of a third season episode of the Boondocks titled It's a Black President, Huey Freeman, which will contain a scene involving will.i.am creating a song to endorse Barack Obama during the 2008 election called Dick Riding Obama.
Got up this morning, things weren't working right. I said I want to make a change. I said I want to fight. Now I'm Dick Riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm Dick Riding Obama, Obama. Now I'm...
The similarities seem to be endless as both the real-life will.i.am and the Boondocks version call for a change in anticipation of the historic and once-in-a-lifetime moment. Many have pleaded for the Boondocks to return to television, as many of the topics the series had touched on have come to light since its ending. The latest headline involving will.i.am's new song is just another example, with one fan even writing, "The Boondocks was truly ahead of its time." But before we get started, elections are about putting people in office who will fight for you, people who will stand on business about the issues that are important to you. Climate change is increasing natural disasters like hurricanes and floods that are devastating communities, especially communities of color, and we need urgent action. On behalf of HBCU Green Fund, get out and vote to ensure your voice is heard and your values are represented. Election Day is on November 5th. Along with the video, will.i.am will release a caption that read, "This is a heartfelt anthem celebrating Kamala Harris and the power of every people. With Election Day just around the corner, I wanted to score the movement and create a call to action and a promise of what we can achieve together. Join me as we shine a spotlight not only on the journey of Kamala Harris and the change that's coming, but also on the everyday heroes and #powerful woman who breathe life into this world. This is a celebration of resilience, hope, and unstoppable spirit, celebrating mothers and single mothers, stepmothers, sisters, aunts, nieces, wives, best friends, fearless warriors, queens, princesses, presidents, CEOs, doctors, nurses, coders, scientists, astronauts, researchers, preachers, caretakers, lawmakers, nurturers, teachers, tutors, professors, entrepreneurs, bosses, and the doorway of life that women are. Feel the rhythm of change led by the people for the people." will.i.am's latest song proves history repeats itself and art just comments on it, as several social media users would bring up the Boondocks after seeing the updated song. The episode would also poke fun at the celebrity endorsements some political campaigns received, and social media users wouldn't hesitate to apply this to the current political climate. Now, there were quite a few Republicans and Trump supporters in will.i.am's comments who felt this was yet another celebrity who sold out by giving their vote to the Democrats. Now, will.i.am isn't the only celebrity to participate in the celebrity endorsement game, as both Democrats and Republicans have aligned themselves with notable figures in order to secure votes. Recently, Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, as well as several others have spoken at Kamala Harris rallies, while figures like Waka Flocka Flame, Amber Rose, Le'Veon Bell, and Hulk Hogan have endorsed Donald Trump, adding more fuel to rumors surrounding celebrities selling out by giving their endorsements. Joining me is our very own John Abbott to discuss this in more detail. First and foremost, thank you, John, for joining me. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I see you on the other side of the country, but we're still making it happen. Not even country, my bad, the globe, South Africa. Yeah, how was that flight getting out there?
It was good. It was a direct flight. Shout out to, they're not paying no bills yet. But shout out to the company that I did fly with. But it was a straight flight, so it wasn't too bad. It's been beautiful so far. Tired but beautiful.
Cool. Well,
Now I want to get into this because crazy enough, when I landed here, I saw a newspaper and they're having discussions here as well about what's happening in America. On it actually said America with KKK in it, like on the newspaper. I'll get that for you in just a moment. But it's just crazy to see that they're talking about it here as well as what's going on, what we see there. So first, I want to get your reaction, on this. Do you think will.i.am is selling out by endorsing Kamala Harris through song?
I definitely don't think he's selling out, but I think he's playing the game of being a celebrity. A celebrity is a public figure. That means that I will use my public representation to influence whatever is needed, whether that is done because I care about it or done monetarily, like I can be bought. They do commercials, they do different things to sell messages. So I think it's more so like Will is just playing his game. My biggest reaction though is that I don't like that these candidates in both sides, both politicians, think that we as the people are so dumb to feel like we got to get moved or swayed by a song and it's got to have a beat to it. I think those are more so the offenses that I have. I did some early voting myself this year, and I not once thought about anyone's song. I didn't think about a celebrity that maybe went on ahead and encouraged me to vote. So a part of me feels like the celebrity thing is a little bit of a running its course a little bit, like how at one point maybe we used to be influenced, but I think people are so much smarter today that they don't need to be like enticed, and we don't need to like dance our way to the polls. Just give me a good solid campaign, make me feel safe about my country, make me feel that you guys care or yet you're hearing me. Everything else, it could be left to the side.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people feel that way as well. But there are some people that are influenced by who's their favorite person. Like, oh, my favorite person's voting for them, so now I'm gonna vote. It's sad that we live in that world, but I think there is a generation. Obviously, like you come from a different type of generation, but I think, do you think the younger generation is probably who they're aiming for when they're having these? Because when I'm looking at like Meg the Stallion, Glorilla.
I talk to a lot of young people in terms of at least I've engaged with them around this particular topic, and they're very, astute. They want to learn. They want to have that dialogue. It's really sometimes the older people that might be more ignorant than what's really going on because the students are in school right now. So I imagine that they're constantly learning and having to educate themselves. Some of us has been working and we've been out of school for years. We just trying to pay these bills. We not thinking about like the different terms of election. Like we just want to kind of like, how is this going to help me for the rest of my day? How is this going to make me maybe make more money, take care of my family more? How is it going to make me do the things that I want to do in my lifetime? I think those are more so the common questions that we as people outside of school think about. So I don't know if we're as like educated about like what's going on. At least myself, I'm not like, in the trenches about like the different details, but I do want to go for someone that I feel is going to look after for my interest, my family's interest, and more so just give me a place to be secure and safe.
Absolutely. And let me ask you just overall, because obviously this is just about will.i.am, but there are so many people that we've seen, promoting political figures. What are your thoughts about celebrities being involved in politics as a whole?
Malcolm X had that warning before his life was taken away about like, these celebrities, be careful, they're public, puppets at times. I'm not mad at it. Again, I think that's celebrities doing what they're supposed to do. That's some do get paid to do endorsements. Some get paid, to present something or to promote something that they may not feel totally aligned with. I think the issue is we have to recognize that as a people. So I put it back on us. Being smart enough to think for ourselves, is kind of how I look at it. Like celebrities are going to always do that until people stop asking them to do stuff. But for the most part, I just think that it's on us to, just think for yourself. Just think like, does this make sense for you? Do you need Amber Rose or do you need Glorilla, telling you who to vote for? You dig what I'm saying? So I don't think that celebrities, it's unfortunate. There are some people, like you said, but I think it's a smaller portion of people than we might imagine. Because if there are people that ignorant, and this is, politics is one I'll try to dance around because all of us feel very passionate about it. But if you're that ignorant to get swayed by Glorilla, for instance, are you really showing up to the polls? Because there's a great deal of people that don't come and vote. And that's not a knock and saying that you're not educated if you listen to Glorilla. But I'm just thinking about if they're saying, hey, we're going to get Glorilla to sway you into voting, are you even voting in the first place? You mentioned Le'Veon Bell in your report. We just did a news break and found out that he hasn't never voted for a president, and he's super outspoken. So these are things that it's like, celebrities, I don't feel like we need them to sway us. I think a lot of people that are smart and intelligent can think for themselves. Who's making sense for yourself? So yeah.
We're in the home stretch of the 2024 presidential election. Because this has been such a historic year when it comes to politics, we here at Comedy Hype News decided to go frontline in order to speak with those who are looking to make a direct impact by voting within our communities. While in Atlanta, we would catch up with the HBCU Green Fund founder, L.A. Kinney, as well as the organizers of the National Coalition of Black Civic Participation, otherwise known as the NCBCP. Lucas and Daryl. Let's take a look.
So for me, I think what I've heard most from young people is having agency and the opportunity to really set themselves up to live sustainable lives. So as Daryl talked about, sustainability is more than just obviously green sustainability, living spaces, also financially being stable, right? It's about having stable housing, stable communities as a whole. And I think young people are very excited about the opportunity to really get out there, have their voices heard, and really to impact our country in a way that they kind of haven't had the opportunity to do so before. So we're coming up for a lot of people, their first presidential election. And so that's really their chance to have that agency and put their stamp and their mark and have their voice heard.
If you look at what's going on in the country right now, voting rights are under attack. Women's reproductive rights are under attack. Babies are being born that have less rights than their parents had. So the next generation wants to know that they are still in the grasp of the American dream.
So I think the two most common themes I've seen for people that kind of feel apprehensive about voting have been one, just feeling disempowered, feeling like they don't have agency, like it doesn't matter if I vote or not. And then two, feeling kind of uninformed, like they don't necessarily have access to trusted resources that they feel are providing them accurate information. And so both of those things, I say the same thing. One, start with where you are, right? What do you know? Do you like the country the way that it is? Are there things you'd like to change? If so, then we've got a lot of internet for you. If you don't have it at home, they've got it at your local library, which might be underfunded if you don't vote. So generally speaking, I just talk to kind of what you already have, right? Because it's very easy to be caught up in the things that you do not have access to. Like we can't necessarily change who's on the Supreme Court right now in this moment, right? But there are things that you can change. And that's what you focus on, especially when you're in trying moments, turbulent moments where things aren't the way that you want them to be. You focus on what you control, what you know, what you can feel confident about, and then you move from there.
Once I first got to college and Barack Obama was running for office, I told my aunt, who participated in the Montgomery bus boycotts, that I didn't think voting mattered. And they kind of took me down through there. And another aunt came in and she started telling me about the jelly bean test and things like that. And then I started to realize how much our people had to overcome just to have the right to vote. And then I matriculated in college, and then the information started to hit me. So I attribute it to the mentorship, people being patient with me and making sure I understood what was going on first before they just casted me aside as someone who wasn't worthy because I said I wasn't going to vote. I think that's what our young people need today. They need people that'll just take the time to explain to them that, okay, that judge that put you on probation was voted in the office. The district attorney that created the mandatory minimums voted in the office. The food at your kid's school was determined by someone who was voted in the office. And once people really understand the X's and O's of how people get elected and then control society, at that point, I think they'll have a high propensity to understand why voting is important and also to participate in those elections.
A lot of people don't have the chance to meet presidents, VPs, their congressional members, people in politics, right? So when we hit these areas, you usually have people that's want to vent their frustrations, right? Then when they get that out, then they seem to tend to listen because you actually care. You had to hear what they wanted to say. So then they listen more. They're more receptive to your information. And we've been really having conversations, tough dialogues. tough love and, 30 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, taking people to the polls, giving food drives, make sure you eat first, because that's really the most important thing. It's hard to talk politics with somebody who's figuring out their next meal.
Go get it done. It's very, very simple. This is your chance. There isn't a tomorrow. There isn't a next time. There's today. There's now. It's going to probably take a lot because this is the only day you have. Everything you can imagine that might go wrong, even if it does, don't let it stop you.
I would say that in America, we have a representative form of government. If you don't vote who represents you, then you are subjected to the tyranny of their representation. So we're in the car, right? We're on a long road trip. And I give somebody the auxiliary corps who likes country music. I'm listening to country music the whole way. I can sing all the future songs in my head, but I won't actually hear it. So in voting, it works the exact same way. If you don't actually vote for who represents you, then you pretty much voted to let them do whatever they want to do in your life. And I don't like people controlling my life. I feel like God gave me my life for me to control. So pretty much when you don't vote and you let people vote for you, you're giving them control over your life. And I wouldn't suggest you do that.
Now, one of the things people speak on, and we've had this conversation many times where I'm like reporting something in Boondocks. It's like Boondocks called that. Boondock. Like, what are your thoughts about that? Because obviously people are like, Boondocks, yo, like we need you back. Obviously you've been ahead of your time. Tell us what else is coming. What are your thoughts about Boondocks being able to kind of foresee some of this and also just, having Boondocks back? Would you want Boondocks to come back to?
I definitely will want Boondocks back. And it's unfortunate because every time these moments happen, it just makes me think about, damn, we really lost something that I think our people needed, our culture needed, just that type of voice, an accountability voice, a humorous, a genius voice, just something that really made our people think, a thought-provoking voice, because the stuff they were doing in that series were making us think. And they did it through jokes. And that's something that we like to do here, even on our platform. We like to encourage a thought habit. We might hit you with something that feels a little bit on the headline type of time, but hopefully there's a good dialogue taking place. And I think that's where we excel at the best on our particular platform. It's trying to be a voice like the Boondocks, look at a certain angle like the Boondocks, point at certain things, certain conversations, because that's needed. Because in media, we don't own those spaces a lot. So those conversations aren't had. So it's great that something like the Boondocks did exist. And it's unfortunate, again, that we end up losing things that we create that is always progressing our community, and then somehow they never last. So that's the bittersweetness of even this particular moment.
No, I absolutely agree with you. The accountability that comes with Boondocks, whether you agree with some of the stuff they say or not, like, I think accountability is big and it's needed because people don't feel shame anymore. People can say anything and do anything, and people are going to kind of code it like, oh, it's fine, you have to accept it. And it's like, no, sometimes you should feel shameful for the things that you say and do or you agree with, because it's just like, it doesn't make sense. So I really appreciate that part that you mentioned about the accountability that Boondocks brought to our community. To kind of bring things in reality in a joking way, but put it in front of you, like what's really happening.
True.
Yeah, no, so I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me in on this topic. Obviously, like I said, I'm in Cape Town. I'll be in Cape Town for the next month or so. So hopefully y'all aren't missing me too much in the studio.
Man, definitely your presence is always going to be missed. But then also, hopefully we get to see you back out here in the States. Because, man, I heard that Cape Town is beautiful. And so part of me, even on my end as the lead, I get it. If I was in Cape Town, I might be like, John, we gonna figure it out.
I am coming back. I am coming back.
I heard y'all.
Yes, it is recorded. I'm coming back. It is beautiful. You can't see the beauty of it because it's nighttime here right now because of time change. We're 7 hours different. So, while you're enjoying the daytime, it is nighttime for me, but I will definitely be coming back. But until then, I will be reporting from here, and I'll try to get you some good views while we're at it.
Yeah. And we love to know kind of what the people are thinking out there. I think let's take advantage with you being out there. What's the conversation of some of the locals taking place, as far as how they're talking about this election. This election is about to go down. literally we're a day away. So the next time you're on here, we're gonna hopefully either find out who's leading or who had won the election. More so probably so who was leading. I think in the
Yeah, because I think it'll probably take a couple days. I wanted to show you this newspaper article. So this is what it says: America on full display. I want to read it really quick. It says, American history is set to begin again. This time it drags the whole world with it. Now, the thing that blew my mind is this part right here. When you actually go into the newspaper, and I want to read that. It says, Civil War, what will die most painfully is the idea of America. Perhaps the most consequential election in U.S. history will be taking place on November 5th, and its outcome is anyone's guess. Although, if we're being honest, we already know what comes next. And I haven't read the whole thing yet, but as soon as I saw this, I was just like,
let me ask you this real quick before we go. What angle are they approaching it? Are they biased to both parties, or is it more like swayed at one of the candidates or not?
so I will say I haven't read the entire article because I have gotten a lot of sleep, but I want to find this one page. I can definitely say they look at Trump as evil. There was a hold on, I want to find it before you go. Oh, here it is. So there's an article, and obviously they still do like a lot of like caricatures and stuff. So this is Halloween 2024, and it has Donald Trump as being reelected as like one of the boogeymen.
That's crazy.
Kind of scary. So I think that kind of gives the consensus of what's happening here. And obviously, I'm pretty sure in that article it's going to break down both ends. I can definitely report to you tomorrow whenever we're talking about the election and just like what's the climate over here. But for sure, they're looking at America like we're a joke. Like this election is a big joke. Whether and I think a lot of people feel the way where we don't feel like we have a great candidate. It's whether you're voting. Some people feel like I'm voting for Kamala because that's the lesser evil. But I don't think anybody's excited, really truly excited about either candidate. So yeah, this is what they're saying over here.
And I'm sure there's a whole conversation of how we got here, because I do feel a similar sentiment of like, is this the best that we can offer as a country? And it's not a knock to either one, particularly on the Kamala side, because I think it's dope to see that a black woman is in that position or a woman of color. Y'all gonna be in the comments, y'all investigate, but she's a woman of color. That's a fact. So with her being a woman of color in that position, it's really dope to see that. At the same time, there are other things that kind of question of like, is she ready for that position? And but of course for Trump, he causes a bunch of different questions himself, about his leadership style and things that he said and things that he kind of encourages others to feel towards each other. So it's just one of those things where it's like, damn, like how does this work? Like, was there anyone else? Are there other people? How did they get this far? Did they do something? They did something right? Did the guy that we really wanted, or the girl that we really wanted, did she not fill it out on time? Was there a deadline she didn't make? Like, where are these other people for us to really kind of like have maybe some better options?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I guess we'll see how this pans out. As we say, election day is tomorrow. So if you have not voted, make sure you get out there and vote, exercise your right, become informed. You can look up things yourself. You don't have to go from sound bites on social media. Actually do the research yourself, and just vote. I think it's very simple. Just get out there and vote. So, but John, I appreciate you for joining me in on this topic. But you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What do you guys think about will.i.am's updated song endorsing Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election? Is this something the Boondocks predicted, or is history just repeating itself? Also, do you think will.i.am sold out for his endorsement of the Democrats? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, your vote is your voice. On behalf of HBCU Green Fund, get loud about issues that impact your community. Vote on Election Day on November 5th. And stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing right here to our YouTube channel. Hit the bell and select all so you can receive notification to all of our content and not just some. And check out Hypers Club for all your cool and original merchandise. And for our YouTube viewers, if you like this story, send us a super thanks by hitting the button below, and you can tip us what you want to show your support. Reporting live from Cape Town, South Africa for Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.